A huge trade rumor between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Edmonton Oilers just leaked, and the whole NHL is freaking out. Fans are scared, teams are confused, experts are arguing. And the league? Yeah, they definitely were not ready for this. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear might be the biggest story of the season. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are talking about a trade rumor so big, so shocking, that it has the entire hockey world buzzing. This is not a small move. This is the kind of rumor that can change two franchises for years. The Toronto Maple Leafs and the Edmonton Oilers, two of the biggest teams with some of the loudest fans, are suddenly being linked in a possible blockbuster trade, and nobody knows how this even leaked. But we do know this: if this trade happens, everything changes. Let's break it all down in simple, clear terms. So here's how the chaos began. Late last night, an NHL insider shared a message saying that Toronto and Edmonton were discussing a major trade involving top defense pieces. No names were confirmed, no official details were given, but the hint was enough. Fans went wild, reporters started digging, talk shows lit up phones, and within hours, social media blew up with theories and predictions. People were asking, is Toronto finally making a huge move? Is Edmonton trying to fix something big? Why now? What changed? Even though nothing was confirmed, the rumors spread like wildfire, because these two teams don't make small moves. When Toronto or Edmonton makes a trade, it's usually loud, and it usually shakes the whole NHL. Let's talk about the Maple Leafs first. Toronto wants one thing: a deep playoff run. Every year, fans expect more. Every year, pressure grows. And every year, the team tries to build the perfect group to finally break through. But the truth is, Toronto has some problems on defense. They need more balance. They need help in key spots. And they might need a big shakeup to change their playoff story. This rumor suggests Toronto might be ready to move a major piece to finally change the team's direction. Some fans think it's brave. Some think it's crazy. But everyone agrees on one thing: doing nothing is no longer an option. Now let's look at the Oilers. Edmonton has superstar talent, but they've struggled with defense too. They allow too many goals. Their structure breaks down, and when things go bad, they go really bad. A move involving Toronto could help them fix their blue line and add something strong to the back end. The Oilers know they need to protect their superstars and stop giving away leads. A big trade could be the answer. Some insiders say Edmonton has been wanting a shakeup for months. Some believe the front office is tired of waiting, and some think the Oilers are finally ready to gamble big. This rumor may be the first sign that something huge is coming. As soon as the rumor dropped, fans absolutely lost it. Toronto fans, no way we're doing this. This changes everything. We better get something huge in return. If this goes wrong, the whole season is done. Edmonton fans, why would we take this risk? This could fix the team or totally break it. What are we even doing? Twitter, Reddit, Instagram, full of arguments. Sports shows ran emergency segments. Some fans started celebrating. Some started panicking. Some even said they'd stop watching hockey if the trade happens. This is how you know the rumor is big. It makes people emotional. It makes people nervous. It makes people talk. And the NHL, they're watching all of this very closely. A trade between the Maple Leafs and Oilers wouldn't just affect those two teams. It could change the entire league. Other teams might panic. Some might rush to make new offers. Some might pull out of deals. Some might call Toronto or Edmonton right now trying to block the trade. One insider even said this: if these two teams pull this off, it could set off a chain reaction across the NHL. That means more trades, more drama, more chaos, and more headlines. Exactly what fans love. Right now, nothing is confirmed. No one knows if the teams will actually make the trade. But here are the three most likely outcomes. 1. The trade happens. This would be one of the biggest moves of the year. 2. The rumor forces both teams to make smaller changes instead. 3. Nothing happens, but the pressure on both teams grows even bigger. No matter what, this rumor already changed the NHL conversation. This story is far from over. The Maple Leafs and Oilers are two teams that carry massive expectations, and if they really are talking about a blockbuster deal, the entire hockey world is about to explode. So stay tuned, because we'll be watching every update, every leak, and every insider comment as this story grows. And trust me, the NHL was not ready for this.
It's a muscle type of injury, I was told, one that responds to rest a little bit, which is why I think it took a little longer. But given that fact, I think there's an argument to be made, why rush it for Saturday when he gets 3 days till the next game? Mm-hmm. The Leafs, aren't in one of those situations where their schedule is going crazy in this exact moment. So, I don't want to say he's 100% back on this game, because you're right, it is a mystery.
What more bad news has hit Matthews' captaincy to become a central concern for the Maple Leafs today? And how could this affect the team going forward? New public statements placed strong weight on his position and connected his leadership to the results the club is dealing with at this moment. This shift now frames the larger discussion around the team's direction. A former Toronto Maple Leafs general manager stated that giving the captaincy to Auston Matthews was a huge mistake. The comment was shared through a recent discussion and was delivered plainly. The same individual said the team elevated the wrong figure when Matthews received the C. These remarks started wide talk around leadership inside the Maple Leafs locker room. Matthews became the 26th captain in team history on August 14th, 2024. He is also the first captain from the United States in the long history of the Maple Leafs. Before becoming captain, he led the team in goals for several seasons and reached major scoring marks early in his career. These numbers placed him among the most productive players in the league. The former executive said the role of captain must show daily leadership. He stated that the C should not be based on goal scoring or star status. He pointed out that the team needed a figure who could direct teammates during long stretches and remain steady in games where the team struggled. He said that defenseman Morgan Rielly would have been a better choice because of his on-ice consistency. These comments gained more attention due to the Maple Leafs season so far. The team has dealt with problems related to injury, defense issues, and hard losses. Analysts noted that the pressure on the captain grew as the team worked through long stretches of inconsistent play. Leadership became a stronger part of the public conversation as the season moved forward. Some observers said that Matthews' scoring pace this season dropped from earlier years. They also said that his performance showed smaller bursts instead of long runs of steady production. These points were used to question whether he could carry the full weight of captaincy during the team's tougher weeks. Recent reports also repeated concerns that his best years may already be past. This claim was made after a stretch where Matthews went through several games with reduced scoring and fewer high-impact plays. These comments added pressure as discussions about leadership expanded in the news cycle. The former executive linked these concerns directly to the captaincy. He said the team needed a leader who could speak up, guide teammates on the bench, and push consistent play across each line. He said these qualities were required for a club trying to move forward in a season with high expectations. Analysts have said that the Leafs continue to face pressure because the team has not reached the third round of the playoffs in decades. This detail is part of the Maple Leafs' long history. It is repeated often when discussing leadership, team structure, and expectations for top players. These points are now part of the current captaincy debate. This season added more challenges. Toronto went through long scoring droughts, defensive breakdowns, and missed chances in key games. The team also faced outside pressure to perform at a higher level. The captain is part of each major shift, each line change, and each result. This makes the captaincy topic even more central to the team's news coverage. When the former executive said the team needed stronger day-to-day leadership, his words were repeated across major conversations. He said the Leafs needed direction, discipline, and clear guidance during tough games. He said that the captain must hold players together when results fall short. These comments connected directly to the current season. Analysts said the team had games where strong periods were followed by sudden drop. They said the team needed steadier play across all lines. They also said the team required a leader who could deliver pressure-proof communication. As the season continues, Every part of the Maple Leafs' performance is being reviewed. Each shift by Matthews is watched. Each scoring chance is noted. Each injury update creates new discussion. Each win or loss adds to the public conversation around the captain. Right now, the statements made about Auston Matthews' captaincy continue to shape news about the team. The remarks arrived fast, spread across many discussions, and brought new focus to the way the Maple Leafs move forward this season. Every part of the situation is connected to leadership, performance, and the future of the club as it stands today.
Sometimes we've scored more goals. So I look at it really in a couple of areas in particular. We just got to play a more connected game, starting defensively. We've given up too much, and that's on our whole group, from our goaltending right through our whole group. We've given up too much defensively. That was not. That wasn't this team last year, right? So we've given up too much defensively. We're not playing connected.
Brad Treliving just did exactly what Toronto feared, and the results are now showing on the ice. The Maple Leafs have lost 7 of their last 8 games. Their structure is breaking down, and there has still been no meaningful roster move to fix the slide. Toronto hoped the mistakes from his past would not follow him here, but now they are becoming impossible to ignore. The Maple Leafs entered this season with high expectations. They had a veteran roster, an established core, and a front office built to push them deeper in the playoffs. But the recent stretch has exposed something deeper. The team is slipping fast, and the general manager has not taken the steps many expected during this downturn. The Leafs' 7th loss in 8 games. During a stretch like this, many teams make adjustments, but Toronto has waited, and that delay has become a major focal point. Brad Treliving arrived after his time in Calgary, where similar patterns existed. In Calgary, the roster saw players leave, contract talks stalled, and depth became a repeated concern. Those issues followed him through multiple seasons, and now the Leafs are showing signs of the same challenges. A new tension formed when no changes were made, even as the losses stacked up. The Leafs continued with the same combinations, the same issues in the defensive zone, and the same struggles with pressure. The expectation was that the front office would react quickly, but the reaction has been slower than many predicted. The roster construction is under more attention than ever. Toronto relies heavily on a few star players, which mirrors past blueprints used in Calgary. When injuries appear or when production dips, the team's depth is tested. Right now, that depth is being tested heavily, and the results show a gap that has not been filled. A rehook becomes clear. The Leafs' identity now depends on solving problems that have not been solved yet, and those problems are growing while the team tries for body injury and still does not have a set return date. The team continues sliding. The pattern of losing has alarmed many observers, and the stability of the core group has been questioned more than once this month. In Calgary, during Treliving's tenure, similar struggles happened. When star players were unavailable, the team lacked enough depth to compete at the same level. Roster changes came late, and contract decisions were delayed. That timeline frustrated the organization before he left. Now in Toronto, the timing of decisions is being watched closely. The Maple Leafs have not made a major roster adjustment during one of their worst stretches of the season. That mirrors the pattern many hoped would not repeat. Coach Craig Barube spoke after the Montreal loss and called the performance inexcusable. He said the Leafs did not play with urgency after giving up early goals. When the coach acknowledges a lack of urgency, the next question becomes what changes will follow. Those changes have minutes. In Calgary, long stretches without roster help contributed to deeper issues, including players feeling unsettled about direction. Toronto is not at that point, but the lack of visible change invites comparisons that many hoped would not return. Depth on defense is another focal point. Toronto has struggled to maintain control in their own zone and has brought in any new help. That leaves the group fighting uphill without one of their most important players, and the strain is visible in their recent games. The struggles mirror what happened in Calgary during Treliving's tenure. Key players out, depth challenged, and delayed roster adjustments. The concern now is whether this pattern continues or breaks. Toronto's season depends heavily on that answer. Barube's comments underline the urgency. When a coach openly says the effort is lacking, the next step usually involves action from above. That action has not arrived yet. Observers expect movement, but movement has not been announced. Toronto is at a point where stability must be restored soon. Each shift, the roadmap ahead is full of questions. What he said could change everything for this team. Coach Craig Barube spoke up after his team's recent loss, and he didn't hold back. He said, "This is a veteran hockey team. It's inexcusable, and it's on me too." That comment laid bare the frustration in Toronto's camp and raised new alarms about how serious the slide has become. Barube pointed out how the Leafs fold when they fall behind. He said, "What I've seen a few times this year is when we get down a couple of goals, we don't play with any urgency." That phrase struck hard for a team made up of experienced players, and people wondered what urgency looks like now. In the game he referenced, the Leafs lost 5-2 to the Montreal Canadiens. The team gave up too many goals, too many bad moments, and it all happened in the second period. The collapse raised the question, how do they stop this from happening again? Barube also took ownership. He said the fault is on all of us. His taking responsibility comes as the team's losing streak grows and the confidence dips. That honesty matters, but the effect will depend on what happens next on the ice. The Maple Leafs have been losing most of their recent games. They are veteran-loaded but still falling into bad habits. The coach's comments came at a point where results must change, or the room must shift. The tension is now visible inside the locker room. Another rehook. Barube talked about structure and mindset. He said, "We don't value the defensive side of the puck enough." That means the team's struggles are not just about scoring, they're about identity. Fans and analysts are now watching how the Leafs will respond. The roster is packed with star power, yet the losses continue. When a coach publicly criticizes effort and preparation, it signals that something major must adjust. The Maple Leafs face their next opponents with more on the line than just a win or loss. In practical terms, this affects how lines are deployed, how minutes are shared, and how special teams perform. When leadership questions start leaking into public corners, the team's unity and focus must tighten. The next few games will be very telling. Another rehook appears. The coach's words echo across the league. Other teams see the tension. Opponents know Toronto is vulnerable. The Leafs will need to fight more than ever to prove those words were not just talk. Despite the names and skill on the roster, the simple hockey fundamentals winning battles, checking hard, sticking to structure, are faltering. Barube identified those small details. When those fall apart, even a deep team can suffer. The growing doubt is now part of the narrative. The next stretch of games could define the season. If the Maple Leafs can't fix the core issues Barube highlighted, the losses may multiply. At the same time, a short burst of strong games could flip momentum back. That makes every crease, every play, every action matter. Coach Barube's message will echo at practice, in the locker room, and on the bench. But the true test comes in games. When pressure mounts and adversity strikes, how the team responds will show if the criticism was needed and if the team can handle it. The spotlight has turned inward for the Leafs. Questions about effort, structure, and defense are now louder than questions about scoring or star power. Barube made that shift. Now the media, fans, and opponents will see what the team does next. Another rehook. The next loss will not just be another loss, it may be a signal. The next win may not just restore confidence, it may reset the season. How the Maple Leafs handle this moment could define more than the next few games. In summary, but not the ending, Barube's public remarks open a new chapter for the team. The identity changes, the urgency intensifies, and the outcomes begin to shift. But whether this is a pivot point or deep slide depends on what the Leafs do on the ice starting now. The camera will watch the team's response. The players will feel the pressure. The coach has spoken. Now everyone is waiting.
Yeah, I didn't think the first period was that bad, but made a mistake on the first goal, second goal, it's a bounce. But what upsets me is we come out in the second period down 2-0. You think we're going to make a push, and we didn't.